All right, here we go.
We're back.
Chief Abrams, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, Director McGinnis. How you doing?
I am doing well. Hello, good morning, Benton Harbor. We are back. We had a little break. Glad to be back. Today is July 10th, 2025, and we are back with Chat with the Chief. Again, we have been off for about 2 or 3 weeks now. One week was busy. Then I had myself some kind of mandatory vacation time that I had to take, which was about 3 weeks. So we are back. We're back in force. I know I've seen quite a few people out and about that said they watch the show all the time and they appreciate it. So that's fun. So we're back. Chief Abrams, Benton Township Chief Head Honcho 301 or whatever you call it over there. How you doing, sir?
301. I'm good, man. Did you have a great vacation? That's is what it was counts. Did you have a good vacation?
All right. So although it was vacation hours, it wasn't actually a vacation. Um,
Uh,
so real quickly, when you get to be as old as I am, as long as I've been here, through the fiscal year, I accumulate more vacation time than we can actually burn. So, for example, I get like 9.23 hours of pay period, which doesn't make sense. I've asked them to change it for an 8 hour day. So, basically, after about 3 weeks of or three paychecks, ends up being almost like 18, no, almost a week. So, it was off because I had to take it because we always lose it, and we've never been compensated for our loss because Michi from Public Works have been here the longest, and we're always in the same thing. And our busiest time is the summer, so we can't really take it off. But I had to take it
uh,
off to lose it. So that anyway, so that wasn't a vacation. I did some things with my family though, but it wasn't so much vacation. But I'm back in the saddle. It's good to be back.
yeah,
I came back into
definitely.
some flames, but yeah, how have you been doing, and what have you been doing in our hiatus?
Well, life goes on even when we step away from the table. To get other things done. So things accumulate. Just like anywhere else. We've had issues back again with the vehicle thefts. Here we go again, of course. And then we're having the same problem you're having, with the mobile parties and just the nuisance of parties and things like that, and the crowd gatherings. And we're just taking it one step at a time. But I know you guys are stepping your game up, as far as maybe even changing ordinances. So I mean, that's the big discussion right now.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So let's kind of jump right into that and start there with that. Make sure I just did this real quick. I'm going on the fly here, so forgive me. All right. So yesterday, and hopefully, Ben Harbor again. That's Ben Harbor and Benton Township. Remember, we're one family. There's one Ben Harbor. Please share the link with Chat with the Chief when we have it every week. Um, we I know, like on our post, like when I did the post for the party last week, we had like at the point I checked, we had like 42,000 views. We need that on Chat with the Chief because we're here because we want to be transparent with our citizens. Again, we hope that you appreciate that Benton Harbor, Benton Township work together. Yeah, Chief Abrams is a chief over there. I'm the director over here. But for us, it's one Benton Harbor. So we work together. So we
That's
want
right.
to keep you informed, keep you in the know, and be transparent. So please share. Chat with the Chief link. It's on Facebook and also on YouTube. You don't have to watch it live. You can go back and see the link for on YouTube. It's the City of Ben Harbor website. I still haven't shared the audio with you, Chief. I gotta do better. Hook me up with your guys so I can just get it to them because this
Okay.
is split up into video and audio. So we got both formats.
Okay.
And the audio comes out really clear. So please, there's a lot that's happening in the city, a lot that's going on, and we want to share that with as many people of our people as possible. All right. So let's make sure we get 42,000 views on Chat with the Chief, not for our own vanity, because I think we put out some good things. So right off the bat, We have, and we got one comment already. Good morning, Miss Francine Johnson. Good morning. And it's funny, Chief, because I've had quite a few people that have seen me out and mentioned they watch Chat with the Chief.
Uh-huh.
First thing I like to do, Chief, I'm gonna take some time. And guys, since we've been gone on a small break for 3 weeks, the show possibly might be a little longer. We try not to be longer than 20 to 30 minutes, 30 minutes being absolute longest. But just to be mindful of people's time and attention. But this might be a little longer. We've got some topics we need to get discussed. So the first thing, there was a lot of kind of a discussion about the city of Benton Harbor's proposed ordinance for what was called in the title nuisance parties. All right. So we had some people came to our commission meeting on Monday, and some people came to public safety yesterday. And what I saw was there was a miscommunication, and I on our part, and I accept the responsibility and said that yesterday at our public safety meeting, and I can share that link in the chat so for people can go directly to it and see yesterday's meeting. We didn't necessarily roll that out or discuss that in the efficient manner that I'm accustomed to that we normally do. So I apologize for that. I wasn't directly involved. Other people handled it, but I ultimately that falls back on me. So first thing I did, Chief Abrams, was apologize to the public for not being clear and ask for the forgiveness for that. And then again, I am so proud of the people of Benton Harbor who came and had comments. It wasn't a bunch of negativity. It wasn't a bunch of gripes. They had some concerns. They shared them. Then we had other people that came with their concerns and solutions. That is what community is about. That's what government is about.
That's
And
right.
there are a couple that cracked my head, and I appreciate that. I'd rather have people's feelings because people are passionate about the Benton Harbor people are passionate. I think we would both agree on that, wouldn't we? We're
Yes, we do.
passionate people, so we respect that, and I thank you. I would rather be in the fire and get citizens' comments and thoughts than we don't hear from them at all. There was one person that put out some misinformation about the incident we had, but that's neither here nor there. But I really appreciate that. So with that being said, the biggest misconception, there's two things I said in yesterday's meeting. There's kind of a conflation of issues. They're kind of two separate issues. But the first thing that I want to make sure that we're clear on is that the ordinance does not apply. People thought it applied to if somebody wanted to have a home get together, a family get together, a family barbecue, a graduation party, something for the kids. That is not the case, and that is not the intent of the ordinance. So I want to make sure that people understand you can still have your barbecues, you can still have family over, you can still go over to grandma's house and for the cookout. This is not for shutting down any party that would be in the city. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that because that was not clear when we rolled it out. The other issue, when I say it got conflated or mean it got kind of mixed up, they got two issues kind of got blended, is really the impetus of the proposal is we have some perennial violators of businesses, of city ordinances, and they are magnets for these mobile pop-up parties. So let me say, one of the questions that was confusing to the people that they brought up was that the language of nuisance parties. Well, let me kind of give you a little history like I gave yesterday. So these things kind of started back in about 2020, and originally they were called like X trains, where, as you know, Chief, they travel around from spot to spot to spot. So, like in the city, they might start at Sunny Spot, travel to Main Street Market. From Main Street Market, they'll go to 310. From 310, they might go or Wings and Things. And they go to 202, back to Sunny Spot, and it was just kind of this circle
Uh-huh.
all the time, right?
Right.
They call it H train then. Now they kind of more commonly call pop-up parties. So the issue that precipitated this ordinance, again, was not the families and really the residential areas. There have been some parties that somewhat may have caused issue in the neighborhood, but 80% of the issues are with these stores, quite frankly, these 24-hour stores. And I said, 202 No Fair, Wings and Things, 310 Main Street,
Phillips
A&D's, AJ's, Main Street Market have been problems. So in the years, every other year, because I looked at my notes, last time we had the store owners in of these 24-hour parties, they would agree to shut down like between 2 and like 6 or something like that, shut off all the lights inside, out, so that it doesn't attract them. And we had success with that. Well, if we don't go back to them the following year, they stop doing it. Some of them will stop doing it during the year, and then it goes back. So there are currently, I want to say 2 to 3 of our stores that are currently under investigation by the LCC, and working jointly with them. So what happened is the intent of the ordinance proposal was really geared towards those entities that by their business operation attracted and somewhat facilitated. And there's open investigation, so I can't say too much. But when I say facilitated, trust me on that, these parties. So this is not primarily or attacking the residents. This is not affecting grandma's barbecue. Really have a really good system, Chief, where when people want to have parties for the kids or like a block party, or they want to use a lot that might be owned by the city or they don't know who owns it, we have an application that comes to me and I look at it, review it, talk to the person, and 99% of the time I find a way to say yes. There might be some give and take, but we have that. So we have already a system in place and it works. And the people, if we come, if there's a party and say it gets late a little bit and somebody calls and complains, we go there, say, hey, it's time to can you turn the music down or shut it down? 8 times out of 10, they're like, yes, sir. We're sorry. We had our fun. Off we go. All right. So not talking about those people at all. A lot of the confusion was the language of mobile parties. And people took those because it was confusing. That is all parties, and that's not it. All right. So then there's some other language in there. And then the other main issue that people had was when this was drawn up, and this was drawn up by our city attorney, that the violation phase is a misdemeanor. And I'm saying, again, this is where I accept more responsibility. I should have read this and vetted it before it was presented, because that shouldn't be a misdemeanor. Remember about 4 years ago, we decriminalized most of our ordinances. So we've actually contradicted ourselves from what our intent was and what we've done with the ordinances, moving them off from misdemeanors to civil infractions for the majority of them, to this right here, which really should be a civil infraction, to a misdemeanor. We're not trying to put misdemeanor on people's records. So that's going to be looked at. So ultimately, what we decided on, we're going to come back. We're going to send it back to legislative. We're going to talk about changing the language of the title. We're going to talk about the language of the intent, because there's some conflicts there, and talk about the penalty phase of simply being civil and not criminal. And then we're going to talk about, and this is where it's going to get hot and heavy for the stores, just shutting down at 2 everything. No more 24-hour parties. Or not parties, 24-hour stores. There's not necessarily a need for that. And then a clarifying statement once we get everything solidified of what exactly it applies to and what it means. Again, we had some great comments, and that is what had happened. I hope this clarifies for some people the truth of the matter. And again, we made a mistake in presenting it. I own that. We own that. We're moving forward with corrections. And we got a couple of guys, citizens that came with great suggestions. I took notes, and we're going to have a meeting with some party planners that do it for a living. They make money, and they've agreed to meet with us, and we're going to meet with them Monday and talk to them, because people are coming to help. That's what community does. So that's a nutshell of what has been happening this week in the 2 meetings and what we talked about yesterday. Chief, I'm sure that's affecting you also, even in township.
Right. So 798 Ferguson, which is the old Howard Johnson's, is where we've had issues at. The owner there, who's been very cooperative, has a nice setup, but there were some things he didn't meet building code wise. So he's in the process of getting these violations repaired. And once these violations are repaired, we're going to sit down at the table again to pretty much map out how business is going to be done when there's a function there. And we still have the Crystal Square, which I know some people still use. We have not had any issues at Crystal Square. Honestly, we didn't have any real issues at the Howard Johnson. We want these venues to, to operate, but operate safely, and we want the owners to be able to dialogue with us about how that can happen. Um, Fortunately, this weekend, myself and my deputy chief, we worked the road for the Fourth of July weekend because we wanted to be as invested in our community as possible. So him and I went out and we worked from like 11 to 3 a.m. in the morning just to help the patrol out so they wouldn't get caught up in chasing little crowds around if that was going to be the case, and still have to have calls holding as well because we wanted our community to remain safe and not just be in one area. So we did that, and right before we did, I put out a Facebook a message, asking for our citizens, to be safe on the Fourth of July weekend. We'll be out there. If you have any problems, let us know. And I'll be honest with you, Dan, Friday, Saturday was great. Fourth of July weekend was great, both for the city, both and for the township. We had little things pop up here and there, but nothing to be really concerned about because we were doing our job as officers. So I think the community pretty much is listening for the most part. We're always going to have that one element that's just going to want to do whatever they want to do, no matter what. But just like you said, we're coming together at a table. Mr. Shaquille Turner is actually facilitating this, which is great, at the table regarding the parties that will be coming up somewhere in the future. And just to, um, let the community know, like I just authorized, somebody came in today. They want to have a get together. It's on a lot. And we've authorized that. I won't give out the date and location, but we authorized it because the gentleman came in, he sat with us, he talked with us, told us how responsible he was going to be with this event. He's already talked with his neighbors. He's taken the necessary steps, to have a safe and orderly gathering. And that's all we want. That's all you want, director. That's all we want here in the township and the city as well. So we can have that. We just need to talk about it.
Right. Yes. We're not opposed to people having fun and enjoying themselves. All we're saying is, because there were some comments, really 90% positive, constructive, I should say. But there's one or two that try to make it like the police just posseed up and just rolled up and try to break up a party. Honestly, we don't really come in unless we're called, honestly, for loud music or parking, whatever. That's really 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then the first time we come, we're asking, hey, could you turn it down a little bit? Or hey, could you not block so and so's driveway? And oh yes, officer, we're sorry. Da, da, da. No problem whatsoever. So we just want to be clear on. We know it's graduation season. It's going to be graduations all through the summer. We know that. We know it's
Mm-hmm.
4th of July. We're not ignorant of the fact that we know that this is family time, outside time, fun time. We get it. So we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
That's right.
So, and again, I thank the residents for coming. And the owner of the venue you talked about, he spoke yesterday, and he was very helpful, very eloquent, and he was a person who's 100% part of the solution
Mm-hmm.
based in a problem. So we thank him
That's
for
awesome.
that.
That's
Yeah,
great.
thank you for that. So that's that, Ben Harbor. You got any questions? Of course, put them in the chat. Again, please share this video. We need to get 40,000 views like we do on every other post. I know the post that was made going into about the party in the weekend, they tried to say it was racist. I made it. So am I racist? No.
Oh my goodness.
So with that being said, let's talk about some updates. Unfortunately, we've been having an uptick back in vehicle thefts, burglaries, and even home invasions. So, Chief, I'll let you crank that off. And I got some stats I want to kind of talk about. I'd like to share, but I don't know if I do it, if the volume will. Remember, I'm the engineer. and I host too. So I'm trying to do two things at once. But yeah, what are you seeing in Township, Chief?
Well, right now we're seeing pretty much the same repetitiveness that we've seen in the past when it comes to um, mostly juveniles. Appears to be back to their old ways again of breaking into vehicles. Um, Most of them have been Hyundai and Kias that still have the turn key and not the push button. But the MO is pretty much the same. What we're seeing is juveniles or appear to be juveniles wearing backpacks, hoodies, keep their face covered. They're still going out around 2, 3 in the morning. They hit St. Joe Township for about 2 or 3, and they hit Benton Township area for about 3 or 4 cars as well. These will be the larcenies and the stolen vehicles. We've recovered pretty much most of the vehicles. Some of the property that was stolen has not been recovered yet, but they're wearing backpacks. They all have hoodies. They're walking in the group for the most part. I do know 2 were captured by St. Joe Township. I don't know those juveniles' names yet, and 2 got away of the 4 that were walking in this group. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're back out there. Reset your Ring cameras, your home, whatever you have to be able to catch any of these things that's going on in the middle of the night, the early morning hours. Um, Let us know. Get that footage to us as quick as possible if you can. If you do see something that was suspicious, even if you weren't a victim, it still helps us, break this cycle and get these guys arrested. So don't keep anything in your vehicles of value. For
Yeah.
those who've had their car stolen, I've given out the club before for the Kia and the Hyundais. I still have some clubs left. Um, if you want to get one of those, you can give me a call at my office, and we can arrange to try to get you one of those clubs for your vehicle. But you got to meet certain criteria. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay. And of course, on the city, we're seeing these same trends. I like to share my screen, but hopefully I won't lose audio. I got some reports of stolen vehicles, uh, burglarized vehicles, and then home invasions, which is burglarized homes. So I ran a report from June 1st to today, and motor vehicle thefts in the city, Chief, 15.
15.
15. And I'm seeing something here that is kind of a couple of things jump out at me. I'm going to try to share this screen. Please let us know in the comments if we lose audio. Okay, let me know if we lose audio. And also, Mr. Turner put into the chat the link to the YouTube for yesterday's meeting. I believe that's what that was. So if you click on that meeting, you can see what I was referring to yesterday. Thanks, Mr. Turner, for that. Good afternoon, Big Dre. So let me try this. Please let me know if you lose sound, if I lose sound when I present this window. Okay, I want to show you this window because it says you are sharing your screen without sharing your system sound. Greg, can you see that window?
I can see the window below, and I can still hear you.
Okay, I know you can hear me because you're special. For those that's on, are you able to hear me? I'm not sure how to do this with
Or we could just show it to them, and then you could discuss what they saw, so they maybe understand
okay.
what they're looking.
I don't know if on my end if you were able to, if we lost sound when I pull up this stat.
Okay, Francine said yes, but no screen.
All right, so Francine, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna share a screen, and tell me you see it'll be like a report. Tell me, can you see the report and hear me at the same time? I'm about to do it right now. Testing, 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 testing. Can you hear me?
Okay, at the bottom I can see. Say something, Dan.
Hello.
Okay, so the microphone to that document you have up is not working. It looks like, but I can see this actual document you have at the bottom of my screen, so I don't think they can see it.
Okay. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cancel this. I'm gonna discuss it, and I'm gonna figure out how to do this where we can see the scene and not lose sound. Okay. So one of the things I want to share with you guys is this. Okay. What appears we have there's a suspect vehicle where it's a minivan, and there's been three young boys driving in it, and this van seems to be, at least on the Benton Harbor side, associated with the vehicle break-ins and also possibly the home invasions. And where they operate is the vehicle will drop one or two of the three off, park somewhere. They'd go do their business, go back to the vehicle, drive off, go off to the next. So here's one thing that jumps out at me. So in reference to motor vehicle thefts, and again, I'm sorry that you can't see this and hear me at the same time. Other 15, they really started jumping off about June 15th. So I ran this report from June 1st to today, July 7th. I'm sorry, July 10th, and there's 15, but they really start kicking off about the 15th for the burglaries. Now we're seeing that these are predominantly on the south side. For example, the 1200 block of Monroe, 900 block of Monroe, Jennings and Well twice, 1300 block of Bishop, 1200 block of Bishop, Clay. So we see there's a pattern. They're hitting the south side. There are some also. There's been, I think, one at Kojic Village, and just that's predominantly it. So now let's look at, again, I'm going to talk about, because you can't see it, and these figures are available. And also, let me say, citizens, what we're trying to do in Benton Harbor is, we used to have back in the day a map where people can go to and see on a map, and they can check. I want to see burglaries. I want to check off, and I want to see, larcenies or whatever. We are looking to invest back in that, so you can go there and see for yourself, are there any trends in your neighborhood? So that is something that we are working on, and I appreciate your patience for this not really working right now, but we want to get the information to you. All right. So around the same time, we had, as of now, starting at 6/16, vehicles being broken into. And again, that's why we think it's the same crew of people. 1000 block of Jennings, 1100 block, 1200 block of Broadway, 1200 block of Jennings, 1000 block of Ogden. So again, be mindful of a small minivan. I'm not sure the color, because we got a picture, but it was infrared. So that makes colors look funny. It was three individuals, and we got some snapshots sent to us of three individuals in the vehicle. All of them have hoodies. They might have masks, and at least one has a backpack. And right now, for us, they're hitting the south side of town, again, starting at about 6/16, 6/15. And then lo and behold, we're up on home invasions. It was 5 in this time frame. And again, the burglary started around 6/10. So you see, about that week is when they kind of started, which what that tells us is whoever we had, it was either gone, and we had them locked up, or they're back out, is what the first thing that kind of jumps out and tells us, because these all start about the same time, and we're getting the description of suspects are similar to all the various incidents. So for the burglaries, there was one that was like Nate Wells, Pleasant, East Britain, River Terrace, 601 Street. So from our perspective, again, we think that's a similar people or persons, because that is an area that's all related. It's all related. And this is probably a separate, different group of or people or person. So we want you to be mindful, like Chief said, and Chief say it again, on what to do to protect yourself and be mindful of your home and your car.
Just make sure that you're not leaving anything valuable that's viewable from the outside of your vehicle. If you need a club, we can try to arrange to get you a club. Make sure that your Ring camera or home camera systems are working properly. That way, if you catch any video footage, you can send it to us to help us identify these guys, or the vehicle they're driving, or the plate numbers.
That's it. And we definitely would like to hear from you. Please call us for something. If you're seeing something suspicious, or if you're seeing something, you say, hey, this kind of matches what they were talking about on Chat with the Chief, pick up the phone, call 911. If something really looks suspicious. I always say this, Chief Abrams, people don't look at stuff like we look at as cops, but people's spider sense still be tingling.
Yes, it does.
So if you look at something and it strikes you, it makes you give it a double take, or it doesn't sit right with you, trust your instincts. Call. And if you don't want to call 911, the non-emergency number, we have what's called, unfortunately, central dispatch. And so we have one dispatch center for the entire county. The non-emergency number is 983-3060. 983-3060. You can call that number and say, hey, I know that the Benton Harbor and Benton Township Police Departments put out warnings of young guys in a van. There's a van in my neighborhood. I live in a hot spot where there's been burglaries. Could you send an officer? So again, the non-emergency is 983-3060. Obviously, 911 is right now emergency. So we want to hear from you. And please share this video. It's going to be a little longer than normal, but share this link so people can know, especially on the south side, for us in Benton Harbor, to protect themselves. Chief, what side of town, I don't know the township as well, is there a particular area that's been concentrated in? And if so, what are those?
Yes. So my neighborhood, actually, my neighbor near Broadway there actually got his vehicle broken into. I don't think they knew what they got because they discarded it. I don't know if they were being chased at that point by St. Joe Township, but some of the property they stole from this vehicle did get discarded. So they're continuing south with these vehicles. And like I said, it goes into St. Joe Township south across Napier as well, heading southbound. So it's like they're starting from, Benton Harbor City line, 10, 1100 block, continuing on southbound across Napier into the neighboring communities or streets there. And that's the area that they're concentrated on. But we do have some good news about this situation directly, McGinnis area. If you, I don't know if Deputy Clark told you, but the juvenile system has revamped some things. And, shout out to Elba Gonzalez, Carrie Matanka, Judge Mayfield. We had a huge meeting about the lodging of juveniles along with the sheriff.
I heard.
And things are changing, people. Things are changing. We now have, and actually have had access to be able to call a judge to override the system if we want to get someone lodged that's been involved in, let's say, a gun crime or maybe a serious bad domestic where that person wouldn't normally score out. So now the county has upped the game now and has given us a little bit more of leeway, power, if you put it, to go past this 12-point system if we have to get somebody lodged. So it's a great thing. We needed it bad. A lot of people were upset that the juveniles were not afraid to be arrested, getting back out and reoffending just as easy as they did in the beginning. So now we have a little bit more ammunition to work with if we do come in contact with juveniles. It won't be just take you, drop you off at your mom's or whatever, or your aunt's or whatever. No, now we have the option to be able to lodge you.
Good. Well, that meeting happened to me when I was off. I got a little slightly different report. I heard they were more concerned about we talked to the media. But if you took a positive spin on it, that's great. I gotta get a slightly different report, but there is indeed a change to the system. So
yes,
we're going to hang our hat on that win and that victory. So we're going to continue to fight for our residents, our citizens. There are more discussions to come. And again, I commend the county prosecutor, Amy Bird, who is, again, she's from Benton Harbor. So when we call her, she comes and she listens. I got to give up Elvin Gonzalez, and I'll kind of maybe dot his eye a little bit, but he came to the table and I have utmost respect for him. So I want to be clear on that. Just we might have a different philosophy on juveniles. And I think one of the things that might get lost in translation is we live here, we're hearing the pain of the residents. They may not necessarily have that same feeling. So it does not discount that they don't care. Just sometimes we might be passionate because our people are passionate. And I can't stand people being burglarized and their privacy being violated and their stuff being stolen that they work hard for.
I agree.
I would admit maybe I know I could be a little strong, but it is what it is. So the judges, Chief Judge Mayfield, and I forget the other judges, Berger,
Order.
met with us. Fantastic. That's again what community is supposed to be in government. Working together, hearing the people's issues, and coming with solutions. Gee, one last thing before we go. You mentioned basically borders. St. Joe Township had issues. Township has issues. This place is very bizarre. We have very bizarre borders. So the city of Benton Harbor borders Benton Township and St. Joe Township. If you go out Colfax, I think on one side is St. Joe Township and the other side is Benton Township. But explain how that works as far as bordering with St. Joe Township, Benton Township, and the city.
Okay, so let's say if you on, we'll take Colfax for instance. So if you're heading northbound, I'm sorry, southbound on Colfax, let's say you're at May Street. So Dan, if I'm not mistaken, you only go down to the, is it at the 11 or 1200 block on that side of Colfax? On Colfax, I'm sorry, yeah,
Cross,
Colfax.
Cross is where we
Cross.
hit.
Okay, yeah, because you got right. I'm so used to being able to see the borders, but
Yeah.
either way it goes, a part of that is mostly township after Cross, St. Joe Township, which is what's the side streets that we have over there that you have that I
Bluff
thought used
Court.
to be.
So Bluff Court is St. Joe
So
Township, which is a block beyond Robbins, Parker. No, it's not Robbins, but Parker, Hastings, down that little hill.
yeah,
So like where it goes to Miami. All right, so on Empire, where that marina is
hmm
St. Joe Township. That little building that's across from the Benton Harbor Yarborough Park is St. Joe Township.
that's really okay. I didn't know that one. Okay,
Yeah, then to
um,
Miami, to St. Joe Township. But if it's on Colfax, isn't that Benton Township? So it's confusing to me too.
and I think everybody know when you cross pretty much the train tracks at Pipestone near Phillips 66 before AJ's. You going
That's,
from the
yep,
city to the township, right? Pretty much at the old Laser Graphics building.
yep, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So
we have crazy boundaries, just like what is it, Kojic out here? Yeah, that's not Benton Township, but outside the street is Benton Township. Inside
yeah,
the confines of the apartment complex belongs to the city. Outside the roadway, that belongs to Benton Township. Airport belongs to the city. Outside the airport belongs to the township.
yeah,
It's weird.
yeah. Enterprise Way is a city, but it's deep in the township.
Yes, yeah. We can go on about that all day.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother show.
yeah. That's a whole other show. So, hey, Ben Harbor, again, thank you for being with us. We think we had a lot of information to get to you, and we have been off for a little bit. Please, again, if you see something, say something. Especially be looking for at late at night young boys, two or three at a time with backpacks, hoodies, masks, and potentially a minivan that's driving around that is the transport vehicle. All right. We want you to be protected. We want you to protect your property, and we'll keep you posted. We will again eventually catch these people and get them in the system, and you'll see these drop off again. But the more you spread the word and spread this show and the information as far as the kind of the suspect MO and description, the more people in Ben Harbor, Ben Township that are informed, the better we can do to protect ourselves. And then any clues you have, again, contact us. Remember, the non-emergency number for the county is 983-3060, 911 if it's an emergency. And last thing I'll show you is myself and the chief's direct dial number to our offices. This is Chief Abrams, 926-8221. Chief McGinnis, 927-8425, which is actually my direct dial number. So that's all we have today. That was a concentrated version, Cliff Note version of the last week/3 weeks. So we're going to get out of here. Chief, you got any parting words for the people? And we will get out of here and see them next week, same time, same channel.
Yep, stay safe, stay vigilant, and if you see something, say something. Always my parting words.
Enjoy your summer, and we will talk to you all next week, same time, same channel.